Hey y'all, welcome back. If you're new around here, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Ryan, and we're Millers in Motion. So obviously right now we're not currently traveling due to the global pandemic, but we are self-quarantining here at our home in Texas and have been since everything started.
This is kind of a recap and a little bit of a guide to how we plan our vacations, but we wanted to give you some examples with the Keystone skiing trip series that we just aired. And so this is going to go into a little bit of detail on that, hopefully provide you guys a little bit of insight. And if you have any questions, don't forget to reach out to us. We can definitely help you with your trips. And if you haven't watched the first videos in this series, we of course recommend that you go back and watch those. If nothing else, it'll definitely be amusing.
In fact, right now we'll go ahead and link the very first one where we road tripped from here up to Keystone, and then we'll progressively put them in the little cards in the upper corner. I don't know which corner it is. All right, so for us, one of the first things we do when we're trying to decide what we want a vacation or a trip to look like is what's that big cornerstone thing that we want to achieve, whether it's going on a cruise, going to the beach, going skiing, or if there's a certain particular thing we really wanted to do, an experience like Hawaii, for instance.
And it doesn't even have to be something big. You know, whenever people think of travel, they think of Hawaii, gone for 10 days in Alaska, you know, huge expensive things, but it can also be weekend trips, road trips, you know, just going to a store that's out of town that you want to go to. It doesn't have to be huge. So that's where we start, and then we narrow in when do we want to go. And sometimes we have obligations, like for me, CME conferences, or for him, work travel, and we have to use that as some of the parameters that we operate within. But also sometimes we have opportunities. So if he's in Orlando for something and we want to take a cruise out of Florida, well, that might kind of work out. Or if we want to pop over to Disney, that might work out. Or
speaking of, we'll link those videos we've already done because of that up here right now, because, well, that's what happened.
And also some of my CME conferences are in really cool places. So if I'm going to be there anyways and my travel is paid for, we might as well, you know, make a longer week out of it and enjoy it and, you know, experience something new. We also have to think about the seasons, because you don't want to go tour the fall foliage of New England in January, and you don't really want to go see Arizona in July. So in this case, we wanted to go skiing, so you have to think about your proper ski season.
Right, so like Lauren said, we obviously started this trip because you've seen it with skiing. We hadn't been in quite some time. The previous trip didn't exactly go,
we'll say, according to plan.
According to plan. It was still fun. I think we both enjoyed it, but there were some things about it that we would have definitely altered and changed and some decisions. So we kind of wanted to do that redemption trip for skiing, because we both really enjoy the atmosphere that goes along with skiing, and so we really wanted to kind of latch on and really enjoy that.
So once we narrow it down from an idea and a time that we'd like to go, we also have to think about who's going with us, because sometimes his parents like to go, you know, they're big Disney fiends, so if we're going to go to Disney, they're usually going too. Sometimes my parents and family like to go, sometimes it's just us, and sometimes we really enjoy traveling with friends. So there are a lot of scenarios. In this case, we knew that we wanted to go with some other people. Skiing is always fun in a group, and his ski level is different than mine, and we just thought it would be more fun for everybody if we kind of had a small group going. So when we factored all of that in, that really helped us narrow down some of our options.
So once we kind of had an idea of what we want to do as our big picture thing, and if anybody else was going to go with us, we kind of said, okay, well, where do we want to go skiing for this last trip? And, you know, we had talked about potentially trying Utah in the Park City area. We had talked about Canada. We had talked, I mean, obviously you have Colorado, you have New Mexico. Now, I will say a previous ski trip a few years back, we actually went to Angel Fire, New Mexico. Yeah. Had fun, just, again, looking for something a little different. We always wanted to go to somewhere other than what we've already done.
Right.
I had some experience in Keystone, and in addition to that, we also wanted to drive for this trip. So really anything within about 12, 13 hour ballpark from our home here in North Texas was kind of what we wanted to do. And you know, Keystone and all of the other resorts in the Vail Valley, right there just west of Denver, is all about 12 to 13 hours depending on which one you're actually going to. So we narrowed it down to Keystone.
So like you said, some of our options were the Red River area up through like Durango and Purgatory, and then up into Summit County and just outside of Denver. So we really had a lot of options in that regard, but we wanted something that was family friendly and very beginner friendly. And so that really helped us narrow down to Keystone, because they have the School Marm Trail, which was huge for us, and they also have an exceptional ski school program. And we knew that people in our group, maybe more than one of us, might need ski school. So we wanted to know, not just me, I didn't go to ski school this time actually, Amy did. But anyway, so we knew that we needed ski school to be an option and to know that it would be a good experience. And whoever went to ski school, we also wanted them to have the confidence that as soon as they got out, they could hop on some trails and really have a good, safe time. So when we factored in some of the location and some of the requirements that we had as far as being friendly and fun and relatively easy for people that kind of needed a confidence boost, we landed on Keystone. And I know that there are a lot of other options. There's a lot of other great ski towns out there, and I'm not saying other ski schools are bad. I'm just saying this one is really what suited us, and it gave us a lot of confidence for this trip for some people that really needed it. So now we have this really good idea of when we're going, who's going with us, and exactly what we're doing. And the fun kind of part starts now, because we get to work out all the details. Now we get to pick actual dates that we're going. We get to look at equipment rentals, make sure that we have everything we need for the trip, look at where we're staying, and look at where we want to eat, things that we want to make sure and do while we're there. So this really gets down into the nitty-gritty, which some people think is some of the most fun.
Yeah, it's my most fun. I like to plan a little bit. So this is typically where I have a tendency to take over a little bit on the vacation planning side.
And that's okay. I like the ideas. He likes the nitty-gritty. It works great.
Yes. So at this point, we really start to look at Keystone as a village and try to understand what it's like, the vibe of certain areas, the amenities in those areas, that kind of stuff. So, you know, Keystone's made up of 5 different villages. Or little sections, I don't even know what to call them.
They call them villages.
Little villages. And after looking through all of them, and definitely if you're going to go to Keystone, check out their website. We'll link it in the description below, because they are very different. You know?
They are.
Some are a little quieter, some have a little more bars, but ultimately we chose River Run Village because it had a good mix of everything we were looking for. So you normally have 2 different options when you start looking at hotels, or in our case, vacation rentals. You know, there's always going to be a hotel or 2 in those areas. Obviously, with a hotel, you're not necessarily going to have a kitchen. Some do, but for the most part, you're not going to have the kitchen. So you pretty much plan on eating out or doing basic snacks and those types of things. I know we wanted to be a little bit more self-sufficient. We wanted to kind of have leisurely mornings and be able to come back and rest. So we wanted to be able to make our own lunches and breakfasts.
It's also budgetary conscious, I guess you could say.
Right. So we actually looked at getting 2 separate condos just so each couple could have their own space a little bit.
Yes.
And so we found a couple of condos in River Run Village in the same building. Both were just 1 bedroom, have a nice little living room.
Right.
You've probably seen the tour. Hopefully you've seen the tour. And so that's the route we decided to go. It actually worked out better in our favor because I think we got off a little cheaper for the accommodations. Obviously, when you do rent a vacation rental, there are certain things you're going to have to do before you leave, like pick up a little bit after yourself, run the dishwasher if you use any of the dishes, those types of things. You're obviously not going to get all of the amenities in a hotel. Like typically somebody comes and cleans the room up every day, takes the trash out, takes your towels, bring your fresh towels. You know, in a vacation rental, what you got when you start is what you get. So if you don't make the bed, it's not going to get made. There's nobody putting little mint on your pillow, that kind of stuff. So,
but I had my own coffee the whole time, and there's a lot to say for the coffee that you really like.
And then speaking of, just a little tip, everything is more expensive in the mountains when you get up to the ski villages.
So that's a little bit of insight as to our planning strategy whenever we start to break trips down that we're serious about taking, to make sure that we have the details that are important to us lined up whenever we go. So now that you've experienced that, you've seen the videos while we were at Keystone because you went back and watched them all, right?
We've seen the videos.
Yes. So now we kind of come to our thoughts after the trip. So what did we like, what we didn't like, honorable mention kind of stuff, just kind of wrap up in that regard. So let's start with what we didn't like. Was there anything you didn't like about Keystone?
The only thing I would say is just be careful when you're looking at vacation rentals. It would have been nice to talk to somebody
That's
that
probably
maybe
true.
understood, but with vacation rentals, you still never really know. Loved the location, the condo itself, the layout.
Yeah.
The only thing I really didn't like, and I think we actually mentioned it in one of the videos, is the bed was not great. And by not great, I mean I hardly slept.
He means older than me. The bed was older than me.
Yeah, I really didn't get much sleep while we were out there. So
that wasn't really shown in the pictures, so it's not something that we can fault them for. It's not something most people ask about, but it's one of those risks that you take with vacation rentals. Quite frankly, you take it with the hotel as well. And that was something we just couldn't really do a whole lot about. Makes for a long vacation when you can't sleep. Okay, agreed.
Right, so that's probably my biggest one. Other than that, I really didn't, preferences at that point. So what about you?
I would tend to agree with you. Some people are going to be a little nitpicky that the walk through the village is a little long in ski boots.
And I will say, based on where our building was.
Right.
Because there's buildings that outlay this entire village. We happen to be near the back of it. We were not the furthest building away.
No.
But we were definitely not the closest either.
And quite frankly, if you paid to park, if you paid to drive in and park, you were still further away than our condo was. But some people are going to say maybe it wasn't as close as what they think ski in, ski out should be.
And that's getting pretty nitpicky
It
too,
is.
because even
It
Keystone recognizes that that's a bit of a walk, and they have a little red wagon program. I don't think we actually ever...
Yeah, we did.
The one time we used it, I don't think we actually filmed it, because typically when we were done, I think we used it when we were done one day, we were pretty tired, and quite frankly, I was tired of holding the camera up, and it was hard to hold the camera.
Hard.
Your skis, your poles, your helmet, because by then you're sweating, and so it's
So yes, to counter that, they have these little red wagons and they're stations, and they are free to use. You don't have to check them out or anything. You just grab one, load up all your stuff, and haul your stuff from one end to the other. And then they have little drop-off depots. And so being that it is a dislike, that's why I kind of recognize it, because they've actually done something to kind of correct it. So, and with any ski town, it's expensive. You're going to find that for two people to go to dinner, it's a lot more expensive than you'd think, and you're not going to run by McDonald's. I told him I would like a little bit more restaurant selection, but by the same token, we didn't want to get out in the vehicle, and so I limited myself into what was walkable. There are probably a lot of good restaurants that were a little bit off the beaten path or further away than we were, that we just weren't quite interested in venturing out to. So yes, in an ideal world, I would have liked a little bit more restaurant variety right there in the walking distance. But again, am I being nitpicky? Probably. So on that note, things that we liked or things that we loved about Keystone.
Me first?
Sure.
So I would say just the overall atmosphere. And that's, I know we went from really specific dislikes to very broad likes.
It's because we don't have many dislikes.
Right, and so you have to kind of dig and find the ones that you really didn't like. But as far as I would say the atmosphere, just because it was a good mixture of, if you want to get a drink, you go have a drink, but it was just a simple kind of local, almost like local breweries and bars, and you go have a drink and sit and have a conversation. It wasn't a club, it wasn't like, it wasn't a bunch of people going crazy, getting drunk like it was spring break. And going nuts and being loud. You could have a beer if you want to. You could go to dinner at almost any of the restaurants and not worry about that. And nobody was up making a ton of noise till 1 o'clock in the morning. Really, at about 10 o'clock, the place died.
It did.
I wasn't up at 10 o'clock. But.
So to build on that, I really liked, yes, that it was family friendly and there was a variety of atmosphere, but also that it was beginner friendly. The ski school was phenomenal. The groom trails, the green trails, their family-friendly skiing. I thought that all of that was excellent, and I think they did a fantastic job in that regard. And so that was definitely something I was confident in, I was very happy with, I know Amy was happy with, and so I can't speak highly enough as to our experience in that regard. So my last, I can't say it's my last, but one of my other big likes, can we please get an appreciation for a gondola? Because when your confidence is a little bit shaken from your last run and you're trying to teach Amy what on earth skiing is, and you strap giant slippery things to your feet, don't give her poles, and then try and get her on a moving chair, that's difficult. So the fact that this was a giant cluster and all we wanted to do was not fall, I give an appreciation for the gondola. And also, on that note, Mom was able to come up with us one of the days, so she got to see the mountain, which was really cool. I don't know that she would have done that if it had just been a chairlift.
I guarantee she would not. She was having issues with the heights in the gondola, so.
So we really appreciated the gondola. And I liked that they didn't have just skiing. Every Saturday they have fireworks, they have tubing.
During ski season.
During ski season, yes. And they have, what was it, like mountain biking or something. You can take guided cat tours. No, the little snow bikes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so at the same place we did the tubing, they had that too. So they actually had a lot of activities other than skiing.
Oh, they had little skis on the bottom.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm picturing like the water bikes with the big paddling. How would that even work? Okay.
Yeah, somebody was paying attention. Anyways, so they had other things you could do. It wasn't just skiing. There were a lot of options as far as that goes, and particularly for Mom, who didn't ski at all, she was still able to enjoy some of the atmosphere and watch us with some of the activities. She was able to get far enough up and see us come down the mountain. She was able to ride the gondola up with us, and she was able to watch us do the tubing, so I appreciated that. So all in all, did we enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Yes, we had a wonderful time. Will we go back?
To Keystone or skiing?
Keystone.
Yes, but not right away. And again, that's not, I would, if that's a hard answer because I would absolutely go back. And if you told me I couldn't go skiing anywhere else or I could go Keystone, I'd go in a heartbeat.
Right.
But again, it's the whole I want to see something different now.
Exactly.
Mentality. So I will definitely go back to Keystone, but it's probably going to be some years down the road.
I agree. Yes, we would go back. There's absolutely no reason to not enjoy Keystone. But for us, we would like to see something different next time.
So we hope you enjoyed this Keystone series that we brought you. We really enjoyed bringing it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not really sure what exactly the future at the moment holds. I can tell you that we have had 2 trips be canceled due to the pandemic.
Sorry, guys.
I have one more that I don't know that I was going to record because it's super golfy and this really isn't that place. I might do one video just as an overview of the whole thing. Plus I'm in tow with my dad and a couple other guys. But it's on the line of being canceled at the moment as well. So for now, we're just hanging out.
So you're going to see a lot of the house, maybe a little bit of the horses and the dogs. We also have a horse show in June. Right now it's still on the books. We'll see. Hopefully. That's all we can say. Hopefully.
Yeah, so I think the next video we're going to try and do for you guys is going to be where we've been and where we'd like to go. And maybe what, now that we've been doing this for, 4 or 5 months, we've got probably we're coming up on 20, 25 videos now. Now that we kind of are starting to find a little bit of a groove in how we want to do these, kind of where we see the channel going.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do some comparisons on other trips we've been, because we've been on to multiple ski towns, we've been on multiple cruises and a few things like that, and maybe we can help compare some of those for you guys and see kind of what you're looking for and hopefully provide some insight and direction for you.
The only thing I would say is in the meantime, if you guys have questions, all 17 subscribers of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. If anybody has any questions, please leave it in the comments below. We'd love to interact a little bit more, I think. And that's, for us, we want this to not just be us showing you where we've been, because to me that seems a little braggy.
We want to bring you guys with us, and we also want to encourage you and help you guys. So, yes, leave some comments, send us some messages. Remember, he is a licensed travel agent. So, if you're booking travel for whenever we finally get free, remember, he can help you with that. Thanks again for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the series, and we look forward to bringing you what's next when we find out what that is.
Maybe we'll go over there.
Bye, guys.